Welcome, everyone. If you're joining us today, you're likely someone who values a really structured, no-nonsense approach to learning. In this explainer, we are going to unpack a topic that literally affects every single professional, yet is almost never taught in school. We're talking about mastering workplace dynamics. And more importantly, we're going to learn how to navigate these waters effectively without ever compromising your integrity.
I actually want to start by posing a question directly to you. Why doesn't the absolute smartest person in the room always get the promotion? Seriously, have you ever seen someone who is incredibly technically gifted get passed over for a leadership role, and it goes to someone who might be slightly less skilled on paper, but just seems to know absolutely everybody? It can feel deeply frustrating for sure, but it actually reveals the very real, often unspoken mechanisms of career progression. Hard work and intelligence, they're absolutely necessary, but they are not the whole story.
Okay, let's look at our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 6 key areas. First, redefining workplace politics. Second, how influence actually works. Third, recognizing common political behaviors. Fourth, strategies to stay safe. Fifth, the warning signs of dysfunction. And finally, your practical action plan.
Let's jump right into Section 1, redefining workplace politics and moving past the negative stigma. When most of us hear the phrase office politics, our brains instantly jump to backstabbing or manipulation. We really need to strip that bias away. Consider this completely neutral definition. Workplace politics is simply the way people use relationships, influence, reputation, and power to achieve goals at work. That's it. It's literally the physics of the workplace ecosystem. Just like gravity, it exists whether you acknowledge it or not. I really want to emphasize a major paradigm shift here. Politics isn't always negative. In fact, good politics is exactly what helps your team secure vital budget resources, build widespread support for innovative ideas, and actually solve deep-rooted conflicts. Problems only arise when these tools are used manipulatively or unfairly. Moving on to Section 2, how influence actually works, or the invisible rules of the ecosystem. There is a massive difference between relying strictly on an organizational chart versus harnessing the power of true connection. Authority is relying purely on your job title to get things done, but influence matters just as much, if not more, than authority. People who possess strong relationships and rock-solid credibility often wield far more real influence than their job title alone would ever suggest. So how is that influence actually built? Well, it comes down to 4 realities. First off, information is power. Highly connected people simply know about decisions way before others do. Second, visibility totally affects your opportunities. If your excellent work is never actually seen by the decision makers, it's not going to lead to promotions or important projects. Third, alliances form naturally. We all inherently build networks with colleagues we trust or work with frequently. And fourth, perception shapes reality. Being known as a reliable, collaborative professional matters just as much as your hard technical skills. The crucial takeaway: being visible, connected, and perceived as reliable, these are the true foundational elements of power at work. Section 3, recognizing common political behaviors right in their natural habitat. Here are some of the most common behaviors you're going to encounter day to day. You'll see people taking credit for teamwork, building relationships with senior leaders, lobbying for specific projects, or forming informal groups and cliques. You'll also see folks controlling the flow of information or speaking positively or negatively about colleagues to influence opinions. Now, notice that from lobbying to clique forming, these actions aren't inherently good or bad. They are simply how the ecosystem functions daily until context is applied. Section 4, strategies to stay safe and navigate this ecosystem effectively. Let's dive straight into the ultimate truth here. You have to do excellent work consistently. Seriously, no amount of networking, alliance building, or visibility is going to save you if you don't consistently deliver excellent results. Strong performance is your absolute foundation. Without it, the rest of this is kind of meaningless. Assuming your work is top tier, here are the fundamental safety measures you absolutely must take. First, build relationships across different teams. Do not rely on just one manager or one single group for your career progression. Second, be impeccably professional with everyone, treating colleagues respectfully regardless of their rank. Third, avoid gossip. Look, listening occasionally might be unavoidable, but actively spreading rumors will seriously damage your own reputation. Finally, Document important work. Keep records of major contributions, decisions, and agreements, and communicate clearly by sending follow-up emails after important meetings so expectations are in writing. Expanding your network while getting things documented is your ultimate defense. Once that solid foundation is safe, you can start applying more advanced social strategies. For instance, stay neutral in conflicts. Don't rush to take sides unless it's strictly necessary for ethical or professional reasons. Give credit generously. Recognizing others builds deep trust and often leads people to support you right back. Protect your reputation for absolute reliability and honesty. And crucially, take the time to understand the decision makers. Learn what your manager and the leadership team actually value, and intentionally align your work with those priorities. Giving away credit and staying neutral organically builds your influence over time. All right, Section 5, warning signs of dysfunction. Basically, what happens when the ecosystem becomes toxic.
So, how do we know when natural office dynamics curdle into something toxic? Notice the stark contrast here. On the one hand, we have ordinary politics, natural alliances, advocating for your projects, building networks, earning influence, and, occasional friction. But if you cross over into a world where promotions are based purely on favoritism, where credit is repeatedly stolen and decisions change with zero explanation, you have crossed a line. If there's a pervasive fear of speaking honestly, and frequent gossip and backstabbing are constantly affecting your ability to do your job, you are in a dysfunctional environment, not just a naturally political one. Recognizing this difference is absolutely vital for your mental health. Finally, Section 6, your practical action plan, a reliable framework for success. To navigate all of this effectively, you need to ask yourself 3 critical questions on a regular basis. Step 1, who are the key decision makers in my current environment? Step 2, what goals are actually most important to them right now? Step 3, how can I contribute to those goals visibly and ethically? The crucial point here is to treat these 3 questions as your personal career compass. Ask them regularly to align your excellent work with the people who matter most. I want to reiterate this with absolute enthusiasm. Navigating this ecosystem successfully does not require you to compromise your morals or play manipulative games. That is a total myth. The real goal is simply to understand how decisions are made, build a strong and supportive professional network, proactively communicate your contributions, and maintain your integrity at all times. I want to leave you with a really powerful insight from our source material that perfectly summarizes everything we've unpacked today. Employees who combine competence with good relationships are often the most resilient and successful in workplaces where politics exists. Competence plus relationships equals resilience. That right there is your formula for a durable, thriving career. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder as you head back to work. Look at your own day-to-day approach. Are you relying solely on your job title and raw output, just hoping it speaks for itself? Or are you actively, intentionally building your ecosystem of influence? The choice is entirely yours. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.